morning and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee Talk Live, where every day is Sunday morning in every cup. I am Savannah, your host, and our beautiful co-host,
Paris.
and we are so excited you have joined us again this week to talk everything coffee. Last week, we had a great time discussing and demonstrating the French press. Paris, we got a lot of good feedback and questions and comments about the French press. And if you happen to have missed it, no worries, because you can access it on our website at sundaymorningcoffeeroast.com or on all of our social media platforms. But before we get into today's topic, which is the Chemex, let's check in with our co-host Paris to see how her week has been.
Thank you. My week has been wonderful. It was very busy as usual. I have definitely kept up with some great coffee flavors and tastes. And I also just wanted to say that I have grown an extra appreciation for espresso this week. It's definitely that great jolt of caffeine really fast. And you don't have to go through a whole cup to achieve your overall goal, which is to keep and get it going. So I'm grateful for that. And I couldn't wait to get back here this week and chat with you all on Sunday Morning Coffee Talk.
Yes, well, that is amazing. You had a week with espresso this week. Now, that is interesting. How did that come about this week?
Well, I didn't have enough time to sit and relax and enjoy a whole entire cup of coffee, but I did need to get it going. So I made sure that I had a nice, jolt of it on the side, and it was perfect.
Well, and many of you may or may not know, but Sunday Morning Coffee, we have a beautiful espresso line, and it is called Bellissima, which means beautiful. And our espresso is fine, it is smooth, it is sultry, and you will find this espresso outstanding. So we encourage you to please try the Bellissimo. That is our espresso, and we are going to have a show dedicated just for espressos for many of the reasons Paris just shared.
Can't wait.
Awesome. But today, we are going to discuss the Chemex. The Chemex is a coffee brewing method that was actually designed by a scientist named Dr. Slumbaum, and he designed it because he wanted to find a way that you could brew the perfect cup of coffee, but in a very simple format. So Dr. Slumbaum, again, is a scientist. He designed this in 1941. And he designed it specifically so that you could extract the maximum flavors and caffeine out of the coffee bean. So thus he came up with the hourglass shape, which helps to facilitate that process. And also he put a wooden collar around the waist of the Chemex. And what this does is helps to keep the temperatures from being too warm as you are transporting the Chemex. And also he put a rawhide tie around its waist as his signature. Isn't that beautiful?
It is. Wow.
It is gorgeous. So with this brewing method, this is again very simple, and it makes the opportunity for you to maximize the flavor and caffeine coming out of your coffee beans. So we are going to start this process as we start with all of our coffee brewing processes by first grinding our whole beans.
Yes.
And this is where Paris, our co-host, is going to come in. And today's coffee we are grinding and working with is Savannah. Yes, Savannah is our Ethiopian coffee. Premier Beans Ethiopia, for many of you who may not know, is the birthplace of coffee, and they produce a regal bean. So we are very proud to have the Savannah coffee bean. And Paris is showing how simple it is to have a handheld coffee grinder.
Yes.
It's literally one-handed, and also you put your beans in and you come out with gorgeous, gorgeous coffee beans.
Every time.
Every time. So with the Chemex, we have to start with a filter. And the Chemex filters come in a square shape. And what we do is we fold it into the square, but you want to open it where it's in a cone shape. So you're going to have one hand in the middle where it's a cone, and then you're going to kind of flip it where it opens up in the middle and place it inside the actual mouth of the Chemex. Through the mouth is where Paris is going to scoop 2 scoops of the coffee grinds into the middle of the filter. And so what this is going to do is going to create the reservoir that's on the bottom to contain the hot water that I'm going to pour in, and you're going to be able to see the coffee beans emulsify and turn into coffee. So inside my kettle is boiling hot water, and this we're going to do a process called the pour over. Now initially, we're just going to pour in just enough and wait for 30 seconds as the coffee beans are first getting exposed to the hot water. So we're waiting 30 seconds for them. They just had a little hit of the hot water. And so now we're going to continue pouring the hot water in a circular motion throughout all the coffee beans and through the filter. And you can hear and you're starting to see
and smell.
And that aroma, that is what we seek. That is what we seek. And you do this is a slow process. And when I say slow, as far as brewing, this is a slow process because what we want to do is allow the extremely hot boiling water to emulsify the coffee grinds so that the extraction of the coffee flavor and the caffeine happens through the filter and the Chemex. And you will be able to observe the extraction happening as you see the coffee happen coming down underneath on the bottom of the Chemex of the bowl. And also you'll be able to watch when it's time for you to pour more of the hot boiling water in.
I can see that because you can see the water level going down.
Absolutely. Now I do enjoy this method, I have to say, Paris, because it allows, first of all, this is definitely a conversation piece. That's first. And second, this is really designed for the experience of great coffee. And it begs you the opportunity to really enjoy and appreciate what good coffee is. So that's why I like when we're watching and observing how coffee can be filtered with traditional brewing methods. This is invisible.
Yes.
You don't get a chance to see how the coffee turns from the beans to the grounds to the actual coffee liquid. And so the Chemex helps to facilitate this.
It does.
And while we're waiting for this to brew, I think we had a couple of questions to come in.
We did, actually. So the first question that I see, it says, should the aroma be different if your coffee is fresh versus if it is old or not as fresh?
So this is an interesting question. With the aroma, whether your coffee is fresh or not, what you're looking for is the aroma of coffee beans. That is what you're searching for. So there's not going to be a difference. If your coffee is stale or expired, you're probably not going to get an aroma. So that's definitely, it's an either or. But when you're getting a very fresh bag of coffee, whether it's grounds or beans, the aroma is almost palpable. You can almost feel the aroma of fresh coffee. The lighter that aroma is going to tell a couple of things. One, it could be that it's not as fresh.
Okay.
The other is it could be that the type of roast that you had was not as strong. And it also could be that the flavor is overpowering the actual coffee, so you don't smell the actual beans itself.
That makes sense. And maybe it's one of those situations where you rely on taste. It's something you can't make out with your nose, but if you taste it, it's very bitter or not as it usually tastes to you, then that's an indicator it's either old or not good.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's a great question.
It is.
Yes.
Thank you. And our next question, it says that does the water quality matter? Does the quality of your water matter, or perhaps even the temperature when you're making coffee?
Yes. Yes and yes. The water quality is a game changer. It is. So if you live in an area where you have a lot of lead in your water, it will impact your coffee tremendously. If you live in an area where you have a lot of sediment in your water, that's going to impact your coffee. So we highly recommend that if you have those challenges with the water system in your location, please use some type of filtration system.
Yes.
Or use bottled water, or buy distilled water or filtered water. Buy one of those because it directly impacts the quality of the coffee, the experience, the taste, everything. And that would not matter what type of beans you have. If your water has substandard taste or quality, you're not going to get a premium experience with your coffee.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that definitely makes a difference. And then the second part of your question, Paris, that one of the viewers asked was the temperature. The temperature, again, that answer is yes. So when we're starting off with all of our brewing methods, we are always ensuring that the water is iced cold. Critically important, ladies and gentlemen, because the colder the water is and you're starting your brewing method, the more of an impact on the positive end it has on your coffee. Cold water is important because of all of the heating elements in every brewing method. It kicks into another level when it's starting with cold water. When you're starting off with the room temperature or warm water, your heating element does not maximize performance. So therefore, your coffee product is substandard. So we ask you, when you're brewing coffee, whether it's a traditional brewer or a French press or a Chemex, start off your cold water, put ice cubes in your actual machine. So inside our tea kettle, we actually had ice cold water in here before we heated it up.
Okay.
Inside your traditional brewer, put ice cubes inside your coffee pot and then pour the ice water inside your reservoir. So every opportunity you have when you are preparing your coffee, use ice cubes when you're starting off, so it ensures ice cold water to get the maximum impact on a great cup of coffee.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Not a problem. Was that your last question, or was there another question?
We actually have one last question, and that is, someone is pretty much advising that they put a lot of toppings in their iced coffee, and they're asking, does that make a difference? Like, will it mess with the integrity of their coffee if they add extra toppings, or what do you suggest?
So the iced coffee challenge. Yes, we love the iced coffee topic because we've had several controversies versus iced coffee drinkers and hot coffee drinkers, and that is a show. that is coming up
Yes.
soon that we're going to be actually discussing, and that show will be totally on iced coffees. So please be on the lookout for that show. That show is coming. As for today, we can give a brief outline of an answer for the toppings. One of the reasons coffee drinkers who like iced coffee use a lot of toppings is because you're often masking the actual coffee itself.
Yes.
That's one of the reasons. And it could be for a couple of reasons that you're masking the coffee. One, the coffee is not that great itself. That could be one.
It could be.
Two is because you may have an imbalance of coffee in your toppings. So you're overdoing your toppings trying to balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, we encourage when you're starting with premium ingredients such as Sunday morning coffee,
Yes.
you don't have to worry about that substandard coffee. And you will also want to experience the coffee flavor and taste in your iced coffee. So you will use less toppings because you want to appreciate the actual coffee.
The epitome of less is more.
There you go.
Yes.
See, that's why she's a co-host. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Excellent. Great question. I really like that. But please make sure you stay tuned with that because we are doing a whole show on iced coffees.
Yes.
Excellent. Awesome. So now our Chemex has finished brewing. And I was remiss in not mentioning that this design is actually in a museum. It's in museums across the world. It has won numerous awards, Dr. Schlaubaum, for the design, and it is actually in the Museum of Art.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that this Chemex design is literally on display in the Museum of Art? It's won so many incredible awards, and it has also won awards for technology and products. So the Chemex, again, has been outstanding for several reasons. This is finished brewing, and now it's time for Paris and I to actually have some of our Chemex coffee. Now, I want to say that when we finish with this brew, we literally take out the filter, and then that literally goes out. And what we want to do is we use today in our Chemex, we use Savannah. Savannah is a very light roast. And so you will notice the color is
tea.
definitely light. And for those of you who like tea, you will enjoy and appreciate the Savannah because Savannah is a light colored, coffee bean. It is not a light roast, but it is a light colored coffee bean, and it looks similar to tea, but it is very, very premium coffee. So I'm gonna pour you some, Paris. And again, we love the Chemex because it has a nice pour spout that's really super easy, and the collar, because it's a wooden collar, you don't have to worry about burning because the collar protects the temperature.
I'm just going to try some without cream first.
And I think I'm going to do the same thing because the color is so light and it looks so much like tea. We definitely try it just for the experience of what the actual bean tastes like. So. So you have, what do you think?
I think this is very, very light. And it is definitely full body. The roast is there. The flavor is there. But it is so reminiscent of tea. Like, it can be sip slow, fast. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you prefer, it's the same every time.
And that is the sentiment. If you really love tea, you're not necessarily a coffee drinker, this Savannah is very similar to a tea. And if you want a sweetener, you can add it, but you can literally drink this on its own. If you're a tea drinker and you don't add anything, this is a great coffee for you to try. I am definitely one, as I mentioned before, I like a little coffee with my cream, so I would add cream, but when I drink tea, it is often with very little additives in it. So I'd be able to drink this by itself, and this will give you that full tea experience while drinking coffee.
It does. And sometimes, if I'm not using honey in my tea, I would put a spot of cream, as you would say. And I did that with this coffee, and it's just like if I had put a spot of cream in my tea.
In your tea.
So it's very light, just like that too.
And it has that color. It has the color again. It has the color of a tea. It has the texture of a tea, but it is definitely a coffee. You'll be able to tell the difference. And it is very smooth, very easy, very light. Much like a breakfast blend.
I would say that.
Yes, much like a breakfast blend. So, and that's why we really want to make sure that we go through all of our different coffees and all of our different experiences, because there are different requests and different tastes and different preferences for all types of coffee drinkers. You can have anything from the very light tea-like coffee all the way to those strong, robust French roasts and espressos that they really want it super dark and super loaded with a punch and a pound.
And the thing I also appreciate about this particular blend is that, let's just say, for instance, someone gifted this to you, or you tried it and it's not that punch or what you really wanted or needed. You can always add espresso to it. It's that light that even if you added a shot of espresso, it would just go ahead and give you that notch above, but still not overpower you.
And that is, again, one of the gifts of coffee is the blending. So coffees have been blended for centuries.
Yes.
That literally we're taking a type of roast and blending it with a different type of roast, or a certain type of bean and blending it with another type of bean. And the original coffee blend is Mocha Java.
Wow.
That is the original coffee blend. When they first started blending coffees centuries ago in Ethiopia, they literally took the mocha bean and the Java bean and they blended it together. And to this day, the Mocha Java is the #1 blend that most people demand and coffee houses and coffee roasters provide.
Nice.
Yes, yes. So that is again that's why I love our coffee talk, because we could bring up so many educational tips about coffee.
That is true.
How it's imported, exported, where it comes from, the different blends. And that's why it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, that we hear from you. We want to know what you are experiencing. What have you tried that worked, that didn't work? What are you curious about when it comes to coffees and the mixings and the pairings? We want to be able to answer those questions for you so that we can bring to you the answers, so that it can help you and assist you to have the Sunday morning quintessential experience every single time.
Absolutely, absolutely, because we all know that it's important to have the best day possible every day of the week. And if Sunday is a time where you really like to sit back and enjoy your coffee and your time, why wouldn't you want to bring that feeling to every day of the week?
That's why the Sunday morning experience was created. Literally, when we drink our coffee on a Sunday morning, this cup on Sunday is different from every other cup.
It is.
It's different from every other day of the week. And that experience is what we're bringing to your cup every day. So we want that signature to be with you as you think about coffee, as you think about your week, your weekends, your holidays. We want you, regardless of what your schedules are, regardless of what your responsibilities are, if you know you have a moment with a premium cup of coffee, we want it to be with Sunday morning premium cup of coffee, so that you can just take that moment for yourself and make it transform the rest of your day.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. You have to.
We appreciate you, audience. Please make sure you tune in again, our regularly scheduled Sunday morning live coffee talks. We will have our topics coming up. We'll cover the iced coffee battle between iced coffee and the hot coffee.
Yes.
And also we're going to be bringing up our flavors of the month.
Ooh.
Okay, we're going to be talking about that. And we will be talking about the espresso topic.
Yes, espresso. And don't forget, as always, Black Friday weekend, all shipping is free. FREE, free. Whether you buy 1 bag or 10 bags, Black Friday weekend, it ships for free.
That's a game changer. The entire weekend, not just one day.
Yeah.
It's the entire weekend. We are shipping all shipments out for free. No shipping, for free. Please go to our website, which is sundaymorningroast.com.
Yes.
And also, please follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Instagram. We are on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Please make sure you follow us on all of our social media platforms. And we are on Amazon. Thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you again next week, where every day it is Sunday morning.